Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out in this nice, warm, balmy weather to be here. The good news is it is about 15 degrees warmer than it was last night at this time, so it's not too bad. First order of business is to adopt an agenda, and I would go ahead.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second. Okay, I'm going to have a change of the agenda as written. We are going to move adjourn to number 8. We're going to move Otter Valley to after that without a number. That is so at the end of our meeting, we can leave the table. Otter Valley can come up here and talk. And that way, if people want to ask them any questions, they can, because it's not officially part of our meeting. And so I would like to make that change to our agenda. Everyone okay with that? Okay. Then all in favor of adopting the agenda with that change, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one. Off and running. Select board comments. I always say that I hope that we're all kind and gracious to each other in this room. We're all friends and neighbors here in town. We do have 2 guests here this evening. So I know I ask you to treat the board with respect. I also ask you to treat our guests with respect as they do things this evening. Any other comments from the board? None heard. Moving on. Item 3, one of our guests, Cornerstone Housing Partners presentation. And I will call on you to come up.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Caputo. I'm with Cornerstone Housing Partners. We're a nonprofit affordable housing organization out of my office is out of Rutland, and we have an office in Bennington County as well. Tonight, an opportunity we're pursuing at 333 Jones Drive. We're looking to do a turnkey project with an organization called Housing LLC. That building is the last was Compass building over there in Jones Drive. We also have property over there at the Shirley Farhouse that we manage here in the town of Brandon. So in total in town, we have currently right now 58 units of affordable housing in the town of Brandon. This project would be 29 units of housing in that building over there at 333 Jones. There's 2 levels that would be used for the housing. There's the main walk-in level, which would be 21 of the units. And then there's 8 units that would be in the what they call the basement level, but it's a walkout basement out back behind the building. And then underneath on the basement level will also be storage for the apartments as well. Like I said, this is a turnkey project with workforce housing. So the idea is the building would essentially be worked on and constructed and built. And then around the 90th percentile of completion, we would purchase the building. We would own and manage the building, and it would be perpetually affordable through our funding, which is through VHCB and VHFA for this particular project. Some of the benefits to the building is the campus back there, as you all know, is a beautiful campus, and adding this property to our portfolio back there would allow us to create more of a community on site. The overall site plan itself would reduce some of the paving that's at the building currently now and restore some more green space. And then there would be a little bit of a play area and areas with picnic tables and things like that that could be welcoming for the residents and the entire campus itself. We're right now pursuing the rest of our funding. We've gotten some funding through VHCB for this project, but we are going up to the VHFA board in March, and they will have a decision in May if they decide to help us fund the project. But we also did secure some funding from AHP, the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston. So we're on a good track and doing well for this project, but the final piece will come in the May timeframe. Then the plan would be to close on the project, a 6 to 8 week process. And then at that point, construction would start. It's about a 17-month duration of construction for this project. And ultimately, we are partnered with the construction manager of Naylor and Breen, who does a lot of affordable housing projects. We've done dozens, about 12 or 14 of them with them in the last 10 to 12 years. So they would be managing the site and doing the construction management side of the project. Ultimately, this meeting is just kind of to bring to the attention of the town of what we have and why we're pursuing it. With our other properties in the town and this addition to it, for us, it just makes good sense. It makes it efficient. We have resources in the area to maintain the properties we already have. So this ultimately just kind of provides some more affordable housing to the community. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments. I did share plans prior. I do have copies if anyone would like them. It's got a site plan and a floor plan on it. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the board? Jeff?
Thank you for this. The plans are on the town website. Highly recommend looking at them. It's very fun to see how it's all going to be divvied up. Has any research been done into what that amount of density added to that neighborhood is going to do in terms of roadworks or sewage and what that might be?
Yep. So water and sewer allotment has already been done through Workforce LLC, the current owner of the property, and that is all approved. There's plenty for that. We've talked to the bus about transportation. A lot of our residents don't own cars, so the bus stop is literally 0.1 mile away from the building. It's right up the road. So that is beneficial as well for the site. So, I mean, overall, the overall impact is it's just more housing that's needed for the area, but we haven't uncovered anything that would be completely a negative or anything that we think that poses challenges. Overall, those 29 units are permitted and would fit in the building nicely. It's not crowding the campus. And like I said, the allotments and the Act 250 and everything have all been looked into. And so far, we haven't uncovered any red flags.
Great. Do you know offhand what the average square footage or kind of general square footage of each apartment would be?
So it goes from 800 up to almost 1,200. There's going to be 3 bedrooms. There'll be 6 3-bedroom units, not a whole lot of 3-bedroom units, but according to the market study, 1s and 2s are highly needed. And then the 3s come in after that. So not a ton of family units, but there'll be a lot of 1s and 2s. So it's kind of a little bit of arrangement. The building being cinder block and concrete is changing walls becomes very expensive. So ultimately keeping that shape makes the apartment somewhat a little bit longer, but we did that intentionally to catch daylight and use as many windows as we could into the building for that natural light look to it. The architect is NBF on this project. I should have mentioned, I apologize. NBF, and they're super thoughtful and creative when it comes to that. We downsized the apartments from the original go around just because our funders said they were too large, but they are still spacious apartments because we have to use the footprints that is there.
Great, thank you.
Now you said a 17-month construction period. Is it going to open in phases or is it going to open all at once?
It's going to open all at once.
Okay.
Our lease up will take, phases in a sense, like leasing the building up. But the actual transition and handover will be all at once. So it'll just be ready. When we get a hold of it, it'll be ready for us to start leasing up. Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Would you take questions from the public if they have any?
Absolutely.
Is there anyone in the public that wants to say, I see Jan put up her hand?
How many parking spaces are you going to have at that facility?
There's currently 29 spaces, and I think there's a plan to go back. We don't have final drawings yet, but a plan to go back, and there's space to put more. We're not trying to increase the impervious surface though. And because of our residents, currently in our portfolio, about 35% of our residents actually own cars. So we don't want to overbuild the parking just to have impervious surface. So we think we have plenty of parking for the area. So that's kind of where we sit now, but we're still looking.
How many parking spaces do we have?
29.
You have 29 units. Is that how many parking spaces you have?
Correct. And we don't believe they were all of those.
Okay, after Jan, if anyone else has a question, come up to the mic so people on Zoom can hear. So I see Brent. So Brent's used to coming to the mic, so we'll do for that. Thank you.
Thank you. One of my questions was going to be about parking because one per unit does not seem adequate, especially with guests and other things. The other thing is, what do you see the total cost of this project being?
I would have to talk to the financial consultant on that. I don't know the total cost of the project currently.
Okay.
But I can get that information and share it with the board.
And from my count, there is 4 sets of washer and dryers, and that's it. The units do not have the capacity for washer and dryers.
Correct. There are no hookups in.
So there's 4 for the entire community, sets, washer dryer. That was one of the other things. I had a Rutland article about the last project you folks did at Marble Valley Apartments that you opened recently.
Marble Village,
Marble Village.
West Rutland.
Yep. And the cost of that per the article was $13 million for 24 units. That comes to $540,000 per unit. Over $500,000 per unit. That is not affordable housing. That's luxury homes. And this is 17 of the 24 are 1 bedrooms. There's 2 studios and 5 2-bedrooms for $540,000 a unit. That's not affordable. If that's affordable, then we're all going to be intense under viaducts because that's.
So the affordability comes in the rent. The rent is based off of your income
Yeah, but where'd the money go?
into the building.
That building could not have cost $540,000 a unit. I do this for a living. My client does multi-housing. I'm working on a 260-unit apartment complex in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is a commute ride from DC. And their cost per unit is $170,000. With site plan is $226 per unit. This community has a leasing office, a community center, a fitness center, a pool with restrooms, pickleball, basketball, dog park, 2 playgrounds, package delivery system. It's a half mile from the train to DC. It's a half mile from 95 to DC. It's expensive. It's Northern Virginia. And they're building it at $226,000 a unit. It's about 42% of what you built that for.
How is it funded?
HUD is funding it. So I don't get it, honestly. And isn't workforce housing also owned by Tanner Romano, who is Naylor and Breen? He's a principal. I know he's a principal of it.
Okay.
And he's going to build it, and he built this last one. Where's the money go? I just honestly.
So I can tell you in the state of Vermont, we have a process when we get our funding from VHEB and VHFA and those that fund these types of projects. And we have procedures we have to follow. So that includes all your environmental site cleanup. For instance, Marble Village, there was a $700,000 worth of soil and site cleanup that had to happen just to be allowed to build there. That's why those properties sat rotting and falling apart for so long, is nobody wanted to do the cleanup. No one can afford the cleanup. So you've got, before you even get out of the ground, you've got $1 million spent on cleaning the site up. So to your point, yeah, it's expensive. I agree with you 110%, but ultimately it's not expensive because anybody's doing anything wrong. It's expensive because of the process we have to follow here in the state of Vermont to build public housing.
You got a $600,000 grant to clean up the brownfield at this project.
Yeah, but that's in that number.
Yeah.
It's all public. There's nothing.
Yeah,
there's
no,
nothing
it's
in
all
the
right
numbers.
here. It's all right here what you got. The number of grants and grants are our tax dollars. It doesn't grow on trees. $540,000 a unit. That's a.
I don't know that math
You
is
could have
correct, but yes,
bought
it's not
24
cheap.
homes in Rutland for half that price. So this is not affordable. This is not even realistic. And if this is what you're bringing to 333 Jones Drive, then I'm sorry, but I object. I object. And I want to be respectful, but this is not affordable housing. If this is,
It is the
Vermont,
folks that get to live in it forever. So this housing never turns back to the public, never gets sold, never gets made profit on. It stays affordable for eternity. So the people that live there and pay a percentage of their rent based off of what they make per year, it is affordable to them. It's the only place they can afford to live.
I understand that.
So
I do tax
that
credit.
is
I do
affordable
tax credit properties, and I know what tax credit properties mean. They get a tax credit. My clients sell the tax credits to even richer people than they. They're not a nonprofit. They make lots of money, and they sell those tax credits to even richer people. So I know, but they're building at 226,000 a door
Not in the
in
state of Vermont, though.
in Northern Virginia,
Understood.
a DC.
We follow every
Suburb,
rule and
basically.
regulation that comes along.
Well,
Every
well,
law that
then-
comes
then
to that.
for-
We don't make the rules. We apply for funding to build housing. That's what our organization.
So what are salaries? What are contractor prices? What are salaries in all of this? Because you can take a nonprofit and have no profit. In salaries, in contract prices, in material costs. I just don't get how you can build something for that many times more than
In Virginia,
Northern Virginia.
in Northern Virginia, there's probably hundreds of contractors that do this work. And they come through and it's a very competitive market. This is not the same market here in Vermont. We are rural.
I
To
know
find
of
more than
three.
2 or 3 drywall companies that'll work in the area, to find more than 4 or 5 electricians that can handle a project of this size is rare in Vermont. So things, yes, are more expensive. It's not apples to apples. But what we do is a process that's not made by us. We follow a process made by the funders and by the state. And we take that process and we build housing with it. I wish it was cheaper as well. I would love for someone to figure out a way to cut the price in half, to your point. But what we have to do is apply for the dollars that are available to this state and make it work for housing. Are there ways that it could be done cheaper? Absolutely. Are there ways that private developers could do it cheaper? Possibly, but nobody will. No one will put up $1 million to find out if a project is viable and put that money into it. The only way to do it, and that is why that property in West Rutland sat like that for so many years. It sat that way because nobody was going to dig into their pockets and pay to clean that site in order to build housing, to make it safe to build.
And I went to that site and those 1-bedroom units are, if they're 750 square feet, I doubt that they're even that big. I saw the living rooms. You could barely fit a full-size sofa in it. The parking there is 1 space per car in West Rutland. And I think there were 2 or 3 or 4 handicap parking spaces. So if you don't have any handicapped people, there's no place for the other people to park. And all guests would have to park on the street. This is at Mary's Restaurant, right on the corner, the amenity packages, picnic benches on that busy intersection corner. I went there. I saw it. I saw the property. I did it.
It's a
The
beautiful
cost,
building.
the cost was phenomenal.
Okay, I think we got to move on to the next question. I appreciate
I just-
it. I see Claire.
Good evening, everybody. Clara Stone. Good to meet you.
Pleasure, if you can, you know.
I feel absolutely blessed that somebody is thinking about affordable housing and doing something. And then let me say, but I agree that that amount of money is huge. And I happen to need to know, where did you get that property from?
We don't own the property. 333 Jones?
Yeah.
We don't own the property.
Who does?
Workforce Housing LLC owns the property.
Which is Tanner.
I couldn't tell you who makes up
It
the
is.
company. I can tell you who owns it.
Because I'm just going to pass what had been talk in this town. I can't have it be factual, but in my mind, I'm thinking about what's going on. That property was bought by his company for his employees to put in 21 apartments. That was the ongoing rumor that most of us were following through the summer. And now you have it for a nonprofit. I'm just confused how these relationships get together. That's important to me. And people can take money from nonprofits. So that's a lot of money and somebody's getting it. I just need to know who, because that's a.
And I heard the same about the 21 units. But I also heard that all of the people that were interested in that project backed out financially. And that's how it came up.
Okay, the board recognizes Karen Rhodes. This will be the last question.
Hi, I have a question for the board.
Oh, for the board.
Particularly when you gave Tanner and the Workforce Development Company a moratorium on the sewer, is that going to still stand for this project? And if it does, when does it start? Gave him a 3-year no sewer fee.
That's not an accurate statement.
Oh, well.
That's not an accurate statement.
I'll help
The town
clarify.
charged the whole amount that it charges everybody. The select board did not waive a policy. The select board considered a request, and the select board chose to stick with the policy as it was written and the calculation that the town staff provided.
It's weird because when I was at the meeting, he asked for water and sewer and he was just granted sewer, if I remember correctly.
Well, this board would not grant water. The fire district would grant water. This board grants sewer, and the decision was not to grant it. They required payment in full and received it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation.
For your time.
And good luck. Item 4, possible consent agenda item.
Make a motion.
Oh,
Before you moved on, there was
Yep.
a question that was
okay,
posed on Zoom
read that question.
from Annie Menard, and it was, is this part of this? Oh, Chris Powers. Chris Powers and Jay Kelly, is this part of the state historic preservation? Do they need an okay from the state? Dan, I'm sorry, they had a question about the historic stuff. Somebody had left a message
Would that
on.
building be considered historic? Any part of historic presentation?
There are some, we did clear with historic that the windows can be changed in the building. Other than that, there's nothing happening to the outside of the building as far as appearance or the way it contributes to the area. So the only real thing was the actual windows.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now moving on. Consent agenda for,
Motion for a consent agenda for item 4, A through G.
Second.
okay, we have a consent motion and a second. Discussion. I wanted to just make 2 minor points in there that one of the items in there was our pre-town meeting, and seeing as though we no longer have the Brandon reporter to spread certain news and we have a larger crowd than normal, I wanted to make 2 points that are there because I don't imagine too many people came to the pre-town meeting. But so that you all are aware that are here, the Brandon town part of your tax bill this year is only going to increase 0.5% if all of the appropriations passed and the budget passes. So that is an exceedingly small figure that the town has come up with, and thanks to the people that are here that came to all those meetings. And just to further identify that equates to $8 for the year on the average price house in the town of Brandon, which is $186,000 tax assessment. So your tax increase from the town budget is little, and I hope you will all, if you don't come to town meeting, you'll hear a lot more at town meeting. If you don't come to town meeting, I want you to at least leave here knowing that, where we don't have a newspaper anymore. Now moving the question, all in favor of 4A through G, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No one. Reports, town managers report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board, members of the public on Zoom. Thank you for attending. I submitted my report in advance, and I just want to highlight a few items from it. One is that we have received the local option tax revenue for the 4th quarter of 2025. The amount is $91,931. And yet again, this sets a record for our best quarter ever for the local option tax. The current unobligated balance in the local option fund is $513,861. The town report book is being printed, and a copy will be mailed to each household with a registered Brandon voter. We've also decided to publish the warning for town meeting in our newspaper of record, so that will be in the Addison Independent on a future Thursday. As the board chair highlighted, we did have the special town meeting. It was updated from what had previously been, the tax increase was updated from what had previously been announced because we got a better more current, accurate version of the grand list value, which is the amount of taxable property in the town. So every time we grow the grand list, we can decrease the rate of taxation required to raise the same amount of money. And I do have in my report that we expect to have the new town website running by town meeting. But I'm glad that folks are here tonight because I do need to make an important announcement about this. So the new town website exists, and as of today, we're not going to update the old town website anymore. Okay, so if you're used to going to townofbrandon.com, you should break that habit and start going to brandonvermont.gov. We went to .gov because it is more secure from hacking and stuff of that nature. So everything that you've seen on the town website is still going to be there. We're going to probably leave it up for a couple of years. Most of the stuff on the existing town website has been migrated over to the new town website. I will say that in the process of migrating, between when we started moving stuff over and today when the new website went live, I guess that's probably the danger zone of stuff that might only be on the old town website and still needs to be brought over, if you know what I'm saying. Like we started from a point in time, and after that point in time, the stuff that's happened in the last 6 weeks, month to 6 weeks, we're going to need to do one at a time, moving over minutes and agendas and stuff like that. We'll get it done. But if you go to townofbrandon.com now, you'll see a banner at the top that says, we're not updating this page anymore. Please go to brandonvermont.gov. If you go to brandonvermont.gov, you'll see some stuff that's very familiar to you. You'll see some stuff that is not familiar to you. One of the things we really want to encourage folks to consider doing is there's a little button that says notify me, little paper airplane kind of icon. And if you go there and click through the list, you can put in your phone number, you can put in your email address. I've tried it, it appears to work. And depending on what your interests are, the website will automatically send you either a text message or an email every time the town posts an agenda for the select board or minutes for the planning commission or whatever you've chosen to be updated, if that makes sense. Anybody have any questions about the town website situation? So it's not awesome timing that we're doing the change, right before town meeting, but all the old stuff's on the old site if people go there. This year's town report book is going to exist on both sites. It's been sent off to the printer. It's going to look like this. It's shorter than it has been in the past, but you should find all the town meeting information and so on and so forth. And if you have questions about using it or trouble using it, certainly you could reach out to Bill or me. We would probably be the two best as far as trying to help you navigate some technology stuff with that. So that was good news. It came in about a month earlier than we had been promised. We very much like the company that we're working with. It's a company called Civic Plus, and they do, basically they specialize in local government websites, and they do many Vermont towns.
Just a quick note, Seth, it is Brandon Vermont spelled out, not Brandon.
Right. It's not brandonvt.gov. It's brandonvermont.gov is the town's web address. Yes.
Questions for the town manager from the board? I would just add that this was done also in light of the reporter not being around, so that people have a place that they can get accurate, current information right away, so that I know we always seem to be trying to beat the rumor mill and have accurate information out there. So that's why this is all happening. Questions for the town manager from the public? Yes, way in the back. Vicky, you got to come up to the microphone, please.
How far back are the minutes and recordings going to be on the new website?
The current ones on the old website are, I think, back to 2022 in one section and back to 2014 in another section, and we may leave those on the old site as the archive. I think the new website only does go back to he said 3 years. I thought 2 years.
This year, 6.
24, 5, 6.
So if you're going to discontinue the old website, will there be proper notice given to everyone in town?
Well, I don't believe we're going to discontinue it for the foreseeable future. It's just going to kind of park there as an archive.
I thought you said in 2 or 3 years you'd be taking it.
Well, in 2 or 3 years, I think what's going to move over is going to move over. The website that we have now, you have to choose a point, right? So the website that we have now probably was done in 2016 or 17, and they chose to go back to 2014 with the minutes. Like at some point, we're getting into ancient history as far as how much stuff are we going to like keep parked on the website. It's always available at the town office. It will always be available. It's public records. It's still printed. Every select board meeting agenda and minutes and packet is still printed and kept in a binder in the vault. It will always be available.
What about recordings?
Recordings, I think, are external to the site. They're on the YouTube channel, right? And I think, I don't know, Bill can speak to what we have for storage there, but I think it's pretty large.
So far, they haven't stopped us. I mean, everything that we have recorded since we started recording, I want to say, and posting to YouTube, like 2020 is still up and will still be up.
I mean, there's a cost to all of this stuff. And at some point you have to weigh, is the cost for more storage space warranted by keeping minutes that were 14 years old or something, or a recording that was 14 years old available immediately instead of in an archive?
So for the foreseeable future, the original site is going to remain.
Yeah, I would say 2 or 3 years minimum.
Okay. So,
and we're going to probably bring over the stuff that is not too old. Like we have to just see what's available and what kind of staff time it's going to take to move all this stuff. I don't have a firm plan with how much stuff is going to move
so
over.
2 or 3 years down the road, you're going to make an announcement that the old website's coming down in case anyone wants
Vicky,
to.
I don't want to hold myself or a future town manager or the board to what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years. I'm just telling you what I would think is a reasonable plan for how much stuff has to be instantly available that we're paying for storage space for. We're very aware that the town wants us to be frugal with tax money. We all pay taxes in this town. We don't want the tax money to be wasted. And we're going to do something that in our best judgment is a good use of tax money.
Well, I'm just thinking back to the Board of Trustees, and those old records were very handy.
And they will
folks.
forever exist in paper in a vault in the town office.
They will be available.
And the recordings will stay too.
Doesn't kick us off. I mean, yeah, but we have digital copies of all those recordings.
Very good.
locally
Thank
as
you.
well.
Any additional questions? None heard. Moving on. Bill Moore.
Thank you. This is my report. I did not print a report. I was in the middle of a dog emergency on Friday. My report is relatively short. Next week, or this week, on the 13th and 14th, you'll hear some people moving around upstairs. There's a show being produced by a local theater company. You buy tickets for them directly online on the 13th, 14th. It's All I Learned in Kindergarten. There's a book that's based on. It's a short play, but it should be a lot of fun. Next Friday, the 20th of February, is the first installment of the band Brandon Idol. It's country music night, country music boots night, and there's 13 acts that will be performing upstairs. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend people come. It's a $5 ticket to come and watch. There's food provided. There's adult beverages provided by May's Place. It's a good time on a cold night. It's $5. And on the following weekend, on the 28th, the Dissipated 8 is an a cappella group. We've had one a cappella group from Middlebury College, and this is the second a cappella group that we've had come down. Dissipated 8, they'll be here on the 28th. That's a 6:30 show. And as far as youth sports go, baseball registration on the coldest morning of the year is open to give hope and warmth to folks. Youth baseball registration is open. And that's my report for today.
Questions for Mr. Moore from the board? Questions for Mr. Moore from the audience? Okay, moving on.
There was a question on Zoom. Could I just respond to it? So there's a question on Zoom. It says public records laws for municipal and state records are required to be maintained for so many years. And right, we're aware of that. The town has a public records retention policy that the select board has adopted, which is in line with the Secretary of State's guidelines, which are meant to keep us in compliance with statute. Okay, so all of these decisions are made in light of that, and the permanent and archival copies are the only official records, and they will be kept in perpetuity on paper in a vault in the town office. It's very important. I have taken a meeting and a training with the Vermont Records and Archives Administration people. It's very important to them that there be only one official copy of the town records certified as the official copy. And that's going to be, for Brandon's purposes, it's going to not be a digital version. It's going to be a paper version recorded in the town vault.
Okay, moving on. Item 6 is to adopt the current road and bridge standards of Vermont. The forms have changed and are more in depth. I know that Mr. Hopkins and Jeremy have reviewed all this, and I will let him tell you about it so we can move on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So yes, in past years, if you remember this form, it was one side of one page, and it said, you know, when was the last time you all voted on the road standards? And for Brandon, it was 2013. And now they're asking us to not just say when was the last time, they're asking us to actually actively readopt the road and bridge standards each year as they have been changed by the state in the interval. So this is road and bridge standards that the state issued January 21st, 2026. And you're being asked to consider and adopt them on February 9th, 2026. There are 8 sections now, and they're all laid out. It's actually a much more useful process than it used to be, because now every year you will be getting an updated version of what the state says are the standards that we must require for roads that we're considering accepting for the town's responsibility. So you see the 8 sections there, and your signature spot is on the second page. And then following that are all the road standards in some detail in the appendixes that they've provided. And then they further required that the town decide how much gravel it was going to require under unpaved roads and under paved roads, and Jeremy has provided that information in section 6. So my recommendation and Jeremy's recommendation is that the town adopt all 8 of the sections. Adoption of all of the sections will keep us eligible for matches for road construction and structures construction projects where we want to get state funding.
Pleasure of the board.
There are no changes, by the way. These are things we do anyway.
I will move that we approve the current town road and bridge standards.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? None heard. All in favor of adopting the road and bridge standards of Vermont, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no one? That passes. Item 7, public comment for things that are not on the agenda. Anyone have anything they would like to say? No. Amazing. Oh, aha. Okay, Claire.
Hi, it's me again, Claire Stone, and I just want to say that the budget amount is magnificent. And I know it got pretty hot and ugly in town when we didn't all agree on the budget in light of all the things going on in the country, people's money's becoming worthless, maybe not having food. It's crazy out there. Thank you. Thank you. It's a breath. And now we have to watch the school budget because that's the big one. Thank you all. Gratitude.
Thank you. I seeing as though we have a larger crowd, I'll identify the 3 people that came to every single budget meeting and helped us: Barry Varian, Jan Coolidge, and Brett Bueller. They worked with the board. As you know, we could not have a official budget committee this year because the state has changed their rules. That will be something that will be a floor vote at the town meeting on March 3rd.
March 3rd.
March
Or March 2nd.
March 2nd.
Is the evening at the bottom of the agenda that's printed. March 2nd is the evening meeting. March 3rd is the voting day.
So in order to be able to have a budget committee, the town has to vote to say that we would want one. That can be a yes or no vote, and that will take place at town meeting.
Chair,
Yes.
there's a question on the Zoom from C Powers and Jay Kelly. Update on police department.
I will leave that to Mr. Hopkins because I know you met with the police chief.
So I met with the chief and the lieutenant on Thursday, and they're still recruiting. There's one vacant full-time patrol officer position. So the chief's with us, the lieutenant's with us. Our longest serving officer is Officer Kelleher, who's still with us and very content. He's being provided with the new cruiser. The fourth spot is Officer Cochran, who is now attending the Level 3 Police Academy in Pittsford, and we expect that she will succeed there. And so the spot that's open is the fifth full-time position plus a part-time position. I'm not sure what other updates are required. That's the staffing update. I can tell you that the Rutland County Sheriffs have continued with their traffic enforcement in Brandon as the board is contracted with them, and that they've provided us with a nice way to ascertain the number of tickets that they've issued and warnings they've given and arrests they've made and the dollar value of the tickets that they've written. And the Vermont State Police continue to provide coverage for serious matters when the Brandon police are on call and not on duty, and they dispatch. The Vermont State Police then are sent out to respond to calls like that. So we have three different agencies working very hard to provide for public safety. They're working together in a complementary way.
Okay, I would just add to that and say that last year after our town meeting and the vote and what we voted in for funds for the police department, I made the statement that our number one priority for this year was to fill all of our manpower positions. So I will say that I have failed at that point, not from us all not trying to do it. It's just a very difficult thing. There are very few candidates that come through, and it's quite rigorous. So I have learned that this year after town meeting, I will not make that promise again, but we are doing everything that we can. And I think that having the sheriff's department cover is helping free up the time of the officers so that the sheriffs are out there doing speeding tickets and things like that that they can do. So it's not the best of the world, but it's the number one priority on our minds every day. Hope that answers your question. Any other public comments? Yes, Clarestone. Didn't get it twice, so you're already up here again.
My workout for today. I think it would be really important that there be kind of looking at our attitude that this town seems to have put out towards the police. I live here. I worked with the police over under two different captains or chiefs, and wasn't always a good place to be at. I don't think the police were respected enough. I don't feel like they had enough autonomy. And I think when you have someone who runs a department, that should be respected. And it shouldn't become so nasty in the community that, police don't want to come here. That's my personal opinion and what officers have told me. They don't want to come here. So I think we have to work to make this a welcoming town and respect the work that is done, because they are saving lives and keeping us feeling secure and doing the things that we don't want to have to do. And I think we have to respect that, like everybody should be respected for the talents and the skills and the knowledge they have. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Last call on comments. None more seen.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor of adjourning?
All right.
Aye.